another one for you. What Aaron Roberts on solo is Home by Dan Kroll.
Hi guys. As you know, we're Samuel A. Thomas featuring Luke. And if I forget the lyrics, just laugh at me, please. This one's called Home by Dan Kroll. I've forgotten how it feels with the carpet under my seat. It's the polyester fibers that wrap around my feet. Feels like home. Oh, home. When the cold shakes my bones, it's the rug that warms my soul. It's the textile to the skin, and the sensation alone feels like home. Oh, home. So if you ever come round to my house, take your shoes off at the door, 'cause it's impolite not to. You'll be damaging my floor, 'cause it's my home. When you're down, you're alone. It's the train that brings you home. And your mother, brother, sister, father waiting at the door. It's so sweet, sweet. Makes me glad I'm only a stone's throw away. Makes me sad that others can't have it the same way. Oh, home. Oh, home. In the forest, it's unlikely that you'll find a home so tidy compared to what it's like living like a city type where it's not home. Come round to my house, take your shoes off at the door, 'cause it's impolite not to. You'll be damaging my floor, 'cause it's my Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the poetry slam.
This next poet says, I want to be remembered. Actually, she doesn't. She doesn't want to be remembered. With just grilled cheese, Rebecca Stiles.
All right, I'd like to say that whoever said I was a liar for not wanting to be remembered, I'm gonna see you in the parking lot, okay? And I look forward to it. Okay. I'm actually really tall, so I'm gonna raise that a little. This is literally just a poem about grilled cheese. It does not rhyme. It is not witty. That's it. Just grilled cheese. Okay, maybe that's not just it. If there's two things I learned I enjoy in life, it's grilled cheese and boys, and maybe grilled cheese just a little bit more than boys. In saying that, boys are a little bit foreign to me, so I'd like to explain my experience with them in terms of something I understand. So, here goes. The first couple grilled cheese I encountered were your standard white bread grilled cheese. At the time, you look at them and you're like, this is the best thing ever! And then, as time goes on, you're kind of like, just kidding. You're actually quite boring and you get stuck in my teeth and on my fingers, so I'm just gonna push it aside for the kids I babysit, but I don't really like that much because they're just kids and they don't know any better. I'm not gonna waste a good grilled cheese on them, but if I'm ever bored, you might look like a good option, so keep in touch. Bye. I'll miss your dog. The second grilled cheese I encountered was what I saw as the holy grail of grilled cheese. Like, you look at it from the outside and you're like, if Buddha or Jesus were a grilled cheese, he would in fact be this grilled cheese. Do not fight me on this, okay? Like, I'm atheist, but this grilled cheese has in fact given me a religion. I'm talking perfectly done and crispy on the outside, but not burnt yet. Maybe he's on some fancy type of French bread that I'm way too average to know about, but you know that's some damn good stuff right there. And then I took a bite, and I saw the inside for what it was. And it was just your standard American cheese, grilled cheese, letting you down since you were a small child. You got me again, Leo's Coney Island, you sick son of a bad person. This is the edited version.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, you take two bites and it leaves a plasticky taste in your mouth that you try to wash out, but you can't no matter how hard you try. I still can't stand the taste of American cheese. I still check every sandwich to ensure that it's not American cheese, grilled cheese. And this is the kind that afterwards you're like, maybe I should just stay away from grilled cheese for a while. Yeah, stay away. So you stay away for a while until the plastic taste in the back of your throat turns into actual plastic that restricts your ability to breathe, and you have to find something to take away that pain. Anything. So instead of grabbing a cup of milk like a normal human being, this is when I encountered, you guessed it, the third type of grilled cheese. It was a little burnt. You could tell it was kind of troubled, left on the stove too long. Maybe you dropped it on the ground and had to wrestle it away from your dog so she wouldn't get indigestion. A couple bites were taken out of it, and you wondered why nobody had finished it yet or even thrown it away, because that's literally how blatantly obvious it was that it wasn't a good sandwich. Like, some things you just know, all right, and damn it, I should have known. It was that kind that calls for you in the dead of the night when you're really hungry and you just want to get that goddamn plastic taste out of your mouth left from the last stupid grilled cheese, so you take the bait. And Jesus Christ, what did I just eat? It's like 12 different cheeses perfectly blended together in a mellifluous harmony. What was that? Did I just counter the Leonardo DiCaprio of all grilled cheeses? I did. I did. I saw Jesus, and let me tell you, he was in between two pieces of bread. Now, I know you're still a little wary what you've heard about burnt sandwiches, but I mean, how bad can it be? You know to be careful. You won't take another bite. It's not gonna kill you. Just scrape the top off like your mom did when she burnt it and she didn't want you to know. Then the day after came, and those butterflies in your stomach, yeah, their fluttering wings turn into razor blades, and it rips your innards to shreds, and you're stuck leaning over the sink, palms sweating, knees knocking, dry heaving, clenching your stomach, holding on to whatever you can grasp, trying to get what's killing you from the inside to come back up, asking yourself why you had to take the bait, why you had to be so dumb. And as you look in the mirror, all you can see is your sickly frame, a hollow shell of what you used to be, unrecognizable, inhumane. And so you push the grilled cheese to the side, or maybe that's when it was taken from you. But nonetheless, you give it to the next girl, and she takes a bite, and you envy the look of euphoria on her pretty face. A lot prettier than your own. And you don't see the aftermath, but you know what's going to happen, and you should warn her. But you're too busy crying on the bathroom floor to even breathe, too busy with a bottle shoved down your throat to even speak. And all you want to say is that you're done with grilled cheese. Burnt sandwiches are dumb anyway. But you remember that taste, and you long for it again, knowing it might just kill you. I encountered a fourth type of grilled cheese, and it's actually everything I could ever want, inside and out. I'm still just talking about a sandwich here. Don't get ahead of yourself, okay? But I still remember that taste, and I still have the charcoal marks stuck to my fingertips, and I can't taste because of the burn scars in my mouth, and my insides are still recovering. And I just can't bring myself to take a bite of this promising subject, because I know that if I get that taste again, if I receive the same addictive inside, that it will be my demise, my ending. So instead, I threw it to the side for it to sit by itself, and I want to say I'm sorry for my messed up defense mechanisms that left it in the cold. And let me just say that when it comes to grilled cheese number 5, it's probably still too busy at the gym, on the stove, to know that it's not of enough substance, let alone significance, to get a paragraph of its own. And let's not mention comprehended at that. And this is just a bad poem about grilled cheese, just grilled cheese, and after all of this, I'm thinking maybe I should just try a goddamn quesadilla.
We had to shuffle things around a little bit. The next poet coming onto the stage wants to be remembered for this poem. It's Evan Farrow, everybody.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the show thus far. I apologize now if this isn't the best poem that you've heard tonight. I'm kind of a rookie, but thank you. But, you know, it's worth a shot. My poem is more of a classical one, and it goes something like this. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. After 2 years, there's little we haven't been through. And from the first time I met you, I knew that there's nothing I'd rather do than go to prom with you. hope you feel the same too. So Kaylee, will you be my one and only and go to prom with me? Thank you.
This next poet says, I want to be remembered by not what I say, but what I do. With 20 years, Elijah Olson.
I don't know how I'm gonna follow that, sorry. All right. We stand in the kitchen. I'm on one side, they're on the other. We allow acronyms to zip through the air like wasps that refuse to be pinned down and squashed. I shout out memorized phrases plucked from a selective memory. They deliver rehearsed lines read from a script. I want something new, something fresh. They want something practical, something safe. I try to find a mix of both, something new but safe, something practical but fresh. But there's a single issue. We can't all win. It's either A or B, or yes or no, or left or right. A thing I can't stand is P, people telling me that I don't know what's B best for me, that I, C, can't have an S, say an M, my education. These acronyms pour out of our mouths so fast they become mixed. ABC becomes BCA, becomes CBA, becomes nothing. Memory surfaces, and is far from selective. It won't matter 20 years from now, I hear. There will be no A nor B, no yes or no, no right or wrong. There will be no ABC, no BCA, no CAB. A thing I can't stand is silly P problems making me think that I am justified in B being arrogant. C, can't I S, C, that this doesn't M matter. I will matter, but they will matter too. These silly acronyms buzz around our heads like flies, but we brush them away. These acronyms cause mischief, trouble, and angst. I feel sick, worried, and stressed. But in 20 years, but tonight, it won't matter. Thank you.
This next poet says, I want to be remembered for my view of the world, for finding the beauty in the ugly, and acknowledging the inevitable darkness in light. And soon we enter into the world of cinema. Dagny Kohler.
Darkness. Complete and utter darkness surrounds me as I sit, center seat in this abandoned theater. A beautifully architectured frame outlines the screen, waiting to be brought to life. I acknowledge my hands, moving, grasping for that dream that I will soon hold. I acknowledge my feet, my body, waiting in anticipation for the motion picture. I acknowledge my existence. From above and behind me, the projector shines, and the screen is flourished with pure, white light. As this is how it begins, this too is how I imagine it will end. The piercing light fades. You see from here, the next scene could be anything, for the only certainty in this major motion picture is that eventually the credits will roll across the screen and the film will end. But what will fill the seconds between there and now? How much will stay in the memories of the audience? The picture begins. In the picture, there's isolation and beauty. There's awkward and shameful scenes. There are scenes that when rewatched over 1 million times still don't change. But they don't have to. On the screen, there's struggle. Though no plot without struggle is ever made for a good film, conflict brings interest. It brings reality. It brings life. Because in the most dramatic, most heart-wrenching, emotionally exhausting scenes, there is still humor. There is still light. And in the most beautiful, pleasing, vividly bright scenes, there is still pain. There is still darkness. Neither can exist separately, not when realism is the goal. Because no matter how fast light travels, darkness was always there first. For the theater was dark before the screen lit it up. I was dead before I was alive, and like the two
And like the theater, the two do not exist outside of each other. They do not take turns, because to see the projected light on the screen, the rest of the cinema must be dark. The screen is black now, though it still has the glow of the projected light. It is black, but it is not dead. The film is not over. For the universe began dark. We start in the womb with our souls open, but our eyes closed. We kiss and feel passion in the dark. We dream here. Audience, do not feel uncomfortable hidden in the darkness. The film will soon shine light on you. Instead, embrace this darkness and find comfort. Display what you want to see on the screen. Evoke what you need to feel in this darkness. The plot continues. There's pain, there's violence, there's isolation. There's beauty here. There's beauty as the 4-year-old stands at her grandmother's grave and innocently sings the full melody of You Are My Sunshine. The day is overcast. The gray sky is complementary of the gravestone. The family is gathered at the left of the shot, grouped together, profile in black. The girl at the front of this group stands before the freshly filled grave, dressed in the yellow of a sunflower. Her sun hat rests on her short hair. Her voice is soft and is about as on key as any child's would be. Her voice carries as the shot changes. The other night, dear, when I lay sleeping. The camera pans across the powdered gray of the sky, overcast light shining through the clouds. I thought I held you in my arms. A focus on the mother's hand, wiping away her tears, runs a mascara down her face. The camera pans, following the hand down to grasp the soft hand of the singing child. But when I woke, dear, I was mistaken. A view from behind the grave. In the forefront, the grave is out of focus, the hanging heads clear in view, mourning over the death of a loved one, yet softly swaying in the September wind to the peaceful melody. As I lay my hand down to cry, you are my sunshine, my only. The scene fades and the motion picture continues on. Like time, the picture doesn't wait. It can be revisited by memory, but cannot change. The film is cut exactly as the editor wants it to be. The film is cut exactly as the editor wants it to be. You may want to change the way the scene played out. Maybe you wanted the mentor to stay without flaw. Yeah, maybe you regret the characters not getting together a year before. You may have wanted to skip over the heartbreak, the family issues, the disappointment. Maybe you wish to slow down the memories, to enjoy these last few scenes for just a bit longer. But there's nothing the audience, the characters, or even the director can do about it. That wouldn't make sense. Believe his reasoning, even if it seems unclear, because the film is cut exactly as the editor needs it to be. The film displays memories as I recall them, or rather, want to recall them. This film is fake. All films are. Film lies 24 times per second. Nothing seen in this motion picture is true. The dialogue is fabricated. The actors display script through forced emotions. The set and costuming are debated over and over again, time and time, to display just the right look. But what you're feeling is real. Filmmakers, as we are, aren't here to convince you to believe everything we display as truth. Rather, our purpose for existence is to evoke truth in you, an audience. This is the barrier between film and life. The barrier so many try to break. But let it be, let it exist. Soon, the theater will fade away and you will be the center of chaos on a set. You are handed a script, though as you flip through, the pages are blank. You are given a crew, attentive at your demand. You are given a director's seat. Here you find peace. So quiet on set. Lights, camera, action.
This next poet says, I want to be remembered as more than a voice. With If You Want to Remember Who You Are, Maria Puertas.
I'm sorry that you have to pretend not to care about anyone, about anything. I'm sorry that you're in so much pain. You think it's okay to drown yourself. I'm sorry, I don't know how to help. You live like a labyrinth, no easy way out. You walk in circles, stumble in circles. You black out in circles. I, a fragile piece of glass without your warmth, transformed into a single grain of sand. You were broken. I was shattered when I needed you the most. Shattered when I needed a brother. Shattered when I needed a father. I lost you in pieces. Shattered. Beer bottles shattered. Jack Daniels shattered. Windshield shattered. So, where were you? On a bathroom floor, on a bar floor, on a concrete floor, because I lost you inside. I cannot tell you how many times I cried, stood breathless outside of your bedroom door, afraid you had committed suicide, for my own life always comes second. Your well-being controls my mind, and you don't know me anymore. 3 a.m., bloodshot eyes staring at the floor. You're in blackness. And just out of curiousness, how much do you remember of the last 4 years? Do you remember me? Do you know who I am? Your fragile piece of glass, and like sand, you've slipped straight past. I, raised by a figurine who was shattered, broken, cracked, shattered by shattered bottles, by shards of glass. You could have died in that car you crashed. One day, I hope you'll look back as I pick every bottle up off the floor, as I pick you up off the floor, every broken, bruised, bewildered bit, until not one is left. And if you ever want to remember who you are, I will wait as long as it takes, trace every crooked line back into your face, and remind you that it's okay to fall from grace.
This next poet says, I want to be remembered for my sweet potato cravings and textbook infatuations with I never write ambiguously anonymous love poems, Hannah Young. The microphone, not me.
Okay. Dear you, I pride myself in never writing ambiguously anonymous love poems. But I should inform you that never has just expired. For my heart beats so loudly against the bars of my ribs, I swear everyone in this room can hear it. Emotions rear whatever bludgeoning head they desire, so believe me when I say I cannot comprehend this moment of irrationality, but I like you. And I know others must laugh at my idealistic heart. Well, at least we are all on the same page. But I remember the other day being unable to discern if my skin burned so hot from the second consecutive all-nighter, or because I was with you. When I was 5, everyone knew I would be an artist, though God knows they prayed I'd find engineering. And when I was 9, everyone knew I would be. When I was 9, I knew I wanted to be a novelist. When I was 11, I knew I wanted to be a philosopher. And only this year did I find myself as well on the penniless path of a historian. But these are my passions, pursuing the arts, double major visual arts with English, with a minor of history, just to ensure my unemployment. I could no longer deny my heart the passion it thirsts for, and when I told them, I remember their fury,
An uncontrollable rage, spitting out threats, declarations of their disappointment of a daughter who can math and science with ease, a daughter who cannot see the logic of a secure paycheck, a daughter who decided to stop living for them, a daughter who never writes ambiguously anonymous love poems. I remember turning my head away from a girl no older than my then second grade self and feeling utter disgust towards her ignorant, fumbling, animal cracker inhaling demeanor. I hate children. They're cute, that's nice. Do you mean to say that they are small and vulnerable? Goldfish crumb-crusted, apple juice-stained bundles of pure innocence. And perhaps this is why I hate them so. Or perhaps it is due to their lack of competence. But no. No, in truth, the lack of competence I fear most is my own. Because if my father vowed to never be like his father and did not see himself to be like his father, but was, how can I expect to be any better a parent when I see too much of my father and grandfather in myself? And so I never write ambiguously anonymous love poems. There was this one day on spring break when my parents especially ripped apart my existence, so I walked out the door reverberating with their proclamations down the Floridan roads until 2 hours later I found myself on a bench in a multi-millionaire neighborhood talking out my frustrations to you. Of course, you weren't really there, but the lake before me carried my voice and returned it as if someone sat next to my crumpled barefoot form on the bench that overcast day. I never realized that not everyone lives under a regime, that not everyone walks through that door with a tremble of the heart. Rumor has it some walk through that door and relax, a haven, a refuge, but this is not home. This is adopt or political party or we will disown you. This is giving me every password to every social media, every padlock. This is locking away my art, my food, my money. This is make your mother happier, I will make your life a living hell. This is now no one grow up like your sister, you don't want to be like her. This is don't read that, you'll look morbidly obese. This is your father sleeps on the couch, we do not support questions in this household. This is growing up with 4 I love yous from her in memory. And so I never write ambiguously anonymous love poems. I remember, though, that one day when my parents walked into me in a smear of needles and razors and blood and skin and assuring their furious faces that it was merely an art project, that the red I swear by God was just acrylic. And they believed me. And they left me in mesmerization of the split skin, the spurting blood, and the ability to finally feel something. I never thought the pain was wrong. I thought it made me stronger. I thought it was an inevitable evil, therefore better to get over myself and accept the pain to embrace it. But as intentional painkiller wounds became intentionally blistered palms, became intentional cuts, became intentional burning of the flesh, I began to wonder, is it so wrong to be weak? But I'll never write ambiguously anonymous love poems. But they are more than scars of the flesh here, though. They're lesions across the mind, scars of sexual assault. I was 7, he was 9, I barely fit into slims, he was all shoulders, the library was empty, the shelves hurt my back, the boy hurt my breast, the hands rummaged at my skirt, the corner was dark, his breath stank of Doritos, I ran. And even though it was years before I knew I had a vagina, years before I knew what had almost just happened, how did it instill this fear of the human touch? And I never wrote an ambiguously anonymous, that one night at the party, you lounged against and across me, and I liked it. And wanted to reciprocate, but didn't know how. And when I'm with you, I'm not afraid of being weak, and God knows you've seen me weak. Frankly, I'm a mess. You're a mess, and I think our messes could work. You once told me you were atheist because what God would allow good people to have disconsolate homes, that you have an ebullient one, and I think you imply that you think you're a bad person, undeserving of your good home, but you are a good person with the best of intentions, and I know you don't believe me. Granted, the highway between your heart and mine is rarely without a tangle, but at least believe this. You're going to be okay. And that one time, we watched children stumble about, and you marveled in their innocence, and I grumbled in their incompetence. You should know, I knew you were right. You once knew you were right. You once told me you wish you could take science classes all day. Well, I wish I could take humanities all day. And the world needs function and philosophy, unity, individuality, socialism, and capitalism to go round. Everything just keeps leading back to you. And I'm not saying we're meant to be or that it's written among the stars. I'm saying I've fallen for you, damn it. Fallen for you hard and fast, too fast. The ground rushes towards me, and then it's in front of me, behind me, all around me, but I don't want to treat you like an idea. For what if that idea belongs to someone else? I was never supposed to fall for you. We are fire and ice, morning and evening, boy and girl. I can remember just last year sitting next to you in English and not being able to stand you. And look where we are today. I know that we is complex, and honestly our lives are so separate, often barely grazing by another, except I've seen you. Except neither of us are quite sure if I've seen you. And it doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Except that when I'm with you, it suddenly does. The truth is, you are a hot mess that doesn't believe he deserves happiness, who fears he'll hurt me. Well, this is my life, and let me make my own mistakes because I would choose you. The truth is, this ambiguously anonymous love poem is for you. Sincerely and quite terrified, Hannah.
This next poet wants to be remembered for making it without having to fake it with Iota, J. Wright.
Context to the title. Iota is the letter J in Greek, so. One moment, please. Excuse me. I was looking for Jay. He told me that he'd be here tonight. Jay, please listen. I know it's been a while since we last spoke. The first day of summer still lingers in my mind when you and I were inseparable. The summer sun melting our winter woes, life was easy during that time. A world all its own when you and I could do anything. But the leaves began to change and fall came crashing down on us, and that September, you changed alongside the colors of the leaves. You wouldn't smile as much. Cracking a joke was like cracking into a vault. That glimmer that was in your eyes was gone. You told me you met someone new, yet you spoke of them as if they were an old friend. That October, you started to spend more time with them. Weeks would go by and I never heard a word from you. You never told me their name, just that they were always there when you needed them. Halloween had long passed, but ghosts still haunted you. Yet there was nothing I could do as I watched you embracing your friend, never wanting to let go, desperate for their attention, always keeping them by your side, always at your side. They corrupted your view of the world, caused you to become afraid of the world, and in turn made you hate the world. Your hatred walled you off. Hatred turned to action, and I watched you recede into yourself. I'd ask you if you were okay, but you would just dismiss me with a, I'm okay. I'm just tired. I had a long night. I watched your face become shut in by that cold stone. I watched as you used smiles like a mask to cover the truth underneath those white lies. I watched your companions slowly consume you piece by piece till I could not tell the difference between your shining smile and their sinister sneer. It's been 8 months now since I last heard from you. The winter has begun to thaw and the world is starting to come to life, yet you still slumber in your tomb. I've come to bring you back to life. I, your savior, you, my Lazarus, to let the light shine in. Your mom always sang to you in the morning, her voice like that summer breeze from so long ago. And so, Jay, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up for the morning. Jay, it's time to wake up. Please see that your heart never healed right because you always tore out the sutures. It's time to wake up. Please see that your mind has become a jail cell and you a prisoner in your own head. You were only held there because you believed you could not set yourself free, but the key was always in your hand. It's time to wake up. Those walls were never meant to keep the evil from getting in, but the good from getting out. Jay, it's time to wake up. Quit calling it them and call it depression. Call it deception, for it was never who you truly were. Call it oppression as it crushed you into the ground. Call it forced you into submission to its institution of self-destruction. Gave you all the tools you needed to destroy yourself, but no clue what to do with the pieces left. Jay, it's time to wake up. It's time to escape from this self-created nightmare. Time to see that your facades are nothing but salt and sand, that you have never been in the darkness because you are nothing but light. You are the sun that illuminates my world, so how can I let you fizzle away? Jay, it's time to let the light in. To step out of the shadows of your past, embrace the dawning of a new day, rise out of your ashes, reborn as a roaring phoenix. That those shackles can't hold you any longer, and those barriers can no longer hold you back, that you know this is not the end. And when you finally walk out of that cage, depression no longer by your side, with you and I hand in hand, people will ask you, "Where have you been?" And you'll reply, smiling, "I was looking for happiness." And I'll smile because you found me. Thank you.
This next poet says, "I want to be remembered as the one with the world on her shoulders, with Becoming American, Elena Green."
Hey, squad. Can we have a hand for all the poets? There we go. All right. We welcome you new incomers with open arms. How proud we are to be adding more of you to the American family, and what an honor it is to be in such a fantastic, wholehearted, and educated society. However, before you are able to stay within these 50 stars, you must agree to a few regulations. Willingness to abide by these regulations will ensure that your stay here will be quite comfortable. Be prepared. 1, let it be Let it be expected that you are to acquire a proper education, engage in athletics that draw tremendous crowds, maintain a steady grade point average throughout your high school and college career, attend a 4-year university, graduate, mind you, as well as find a partner and settle down behind a picket fence where your daughters and sons will grow. Yes, I will get an education, but because I want to, not because you told me to. What I did with the final letters of my 12 years of adolescent education may rank me as a genius, but my heart belongs to the arts. My GPA may cause college admissions to scoff, but their denial only fuels my dream of seeing the length of the Great Wall of China from space and leaving my mark on the moon. I despise the thought of putting this body through labor because the life I want to live would mean that my children would be taken care of by a person that they call their nanny but see as their mother. That my self-worth is not defined by a ring on my finger. But not that I don't want one. Like, I know you're out there. I'll find you. I promise. 2, your mother tongue must be English. For how do you expect to live in this country if you can hardly recite an alphabet that a child can say backwards? If you wish to attract any attention from the opposite sex, obtain a substantial career, or raise children without them being classified as a foreigner who needs to go back to whatever country they came from, you must learn the language of America. Despite the fact that the United States does not have an official religion, the idea that English is the official language only became a cultural normality due to American defiance and laziness about learning more than Hakuna Matata. It means no worries, since you'll never need to know an ounce of Swahili, since other cultures will adapt to suit you even if you don't reciprocate. My desire to learn languages is considered taboo because it isn't supposed to be my duty to adapt into foreign cultures if they won't take the effort to adapt to mine. Even though they're kind enough to offer me a menu in my own language, but I'm unable to return a thanks in their own tongue. 3, yes, it is written that the United States doesn't have an official religion, but you can tell by the size of our churches and the crosses on the necks and lobes of our population, you should learn to adapt and change if you want to fit in. You can't simply add Christ into your traditional backgrounds. You must allow him to become a part of your life that is far greater than your native habits. You may broadcast your religion for all to see, or you may not. Either way, make sure you're at church every Sunday. I'm not here to say that I have the answer we seek beyond the grave, or that I have shaken hands with the being behind our creation. And I'm not here to say that it's wrong to identify yourself as a Christian or a Catholic. But what I am here to say is that I believe. And what I do know. If it's right or true, I don't. But what I do believe and do know is that religion is all about acceptance, whether you're Jewish or Catholic or Muslim. It's all about finding who you are spiritually. You may feel comfortable identifying yourself with a single religion, or you may be like me. The cross may be around my neck, but his words are not all mine. I don't identify myself as a singular religion because if I do, I would be doubting my beliefs in reincarnation, the necessity of suffering, or be doubting that a man was able to feed millions with a single loaf of bread when I claim to be a Buddhist, a Christian, a Muslim, a Hindu, a human being who is free to choose my own beliefs. 4, don't be too fat, but don't be too skinny either. How about you don't judge people for their size? Don't work out so much. Encourage your love of sweat running down their faces. Are those what you call muscles? Yes, I call these muscles, and I've worked hard to get them. Take this. It'll help with that ghastly pale complexion. It's a new shade called Casper. Your shorts are too short. I like to show off my legs. Did you forget to shave this morning? As a matter of fact, I did forget to shave this morning. But I also like the skirt and the way I can feel it brush against my ankles. Why is your hair so curly? There's this thing called genetics. I didn't choose for my hair to do this. Why don't you straighten your hair? I thought about straightening my hair. I didn't pursue the idea. You have got to try these new pills. Slims you down in a matter of weeks. I'm not really a fan of medications where I can hardly read the ingredients. Why do you go so dark? I am dark because half of my heritage originated in Africa. Date only a member of the opposite sex. I'll date who I want regardless of their gender or sexual orientation. Be as straight as an arrow. Honey, I may be as straight as an arrow, but those with the curves of a rainbow deserve to love whomever their heart tells them to. Don't eat that. You don't need the extra pounds. I'm going to eat that and welcome the added weight with a warm embrace. Eat this, your ribs are showing. No, I'm not hungry. 5. Be yourself, as long as the person you choose to be resembles what others want you to be. Be yourself, as long as you are happy with who you are. Be what others want you to be if you can see yourself with a smile on your face, even when you decide to be like the people around you. Challenge normality and embrace abnormality in your quest to find yourself. But in all actuality, just be who you want to be. Because at the end of the day, the only person that's looking back from the reflection you see in the mirror is yourself. Thanks.
The next poet says, I want to be remembered by that final voicemail that turned out to be a butt dial. With her poem, What's to Be Lost, the poet who only wants to be known as Jaren.
When she smiles at me, it is crooked. Her gaze avoids mine and rests at the bridges of my nose, and she says it's because I have his eyes. When I asked her what loss felt like, she said it was memories she didn't choose to keep. But she kept his necklace close and wore it night and day. It poked at her while she slept, but it was a gift of his she would always hold. She still feels his pulse on her chest. For nights when she needed to shorten the distance from his to hers, but now their distance is lost in time. He lives on an altitude incomprehensible for her to exist only when she replays his voice inside her head in short little skits. Sometimes when she grabs my hand, I feel her tighten up. When her arms enclose in mine, I can feel that she is strong. But when she did the same with him, I always wondered how she found the strength to release what's to be lost. When you lost your dad, you lost me too. Our smiles became unsynchronized, like salt into coffee and couples in separate beds. You held out your arms and I ran towards your palms before I realized I am not what you're reaching for. I began to wonder what it would take. How many earthquakes would have to crack our platonic plates for you to realize that platonic is anything but us? How many tsunamis would you need to wash out your ears to hear my heart crumbling with each thundering step you take away? How many storms would you seek the power of to electrocute my lungs when they are no longer breathing under the tide of your tears? When you are caught up in one person, you trip over the other, and I have been scratched and kicked under my bones. When, Mom, did I become the tissue in your hand rather than the pollen to your garden? When did I start reminding you of crooked picture frames, oil-stained walls, hairy carpets, the satin wrap to your food plate that still lets air through because it never found the strength to hold grudges as tight as you? When did our ties rip apart like Velcro without an exaggeration in the sound that it makes? When did I become the blame for your gray patches, calloused heels, stained fingernails, the eyelids that still see the darkness in the world even when they are open? The space between your room and mine was fatal territory, marked by water's calm blue before I flooded through. I tried to come closer, but got the shock of your doorknob. You yell at me like a car alarm, but I've started singing along. My last response from you was when I taught you to repeat what hurts so that it would eventually lose its meaning. You haven't stopped saying our names since.
This next poet says, I want to be remembered as a girl who did the best she could with what she had. With How Dare You, Rachel Campbell.
Anger, to me, is internalized. It's a small army in the back of my throat, impairing me of speech, using their double-edged sword to bite my tongue, leaving me with a mouthful of blood, thirsting for vengeance. Anger looks like fire and smoke, consuming all the light, leaving me with darkness. Anger sounds like the opening of the liquor cabinet, the creaking of floorboards, the slamming of doors, but most of all, anger sounds like silence. Anger reeks like the regret stained into my clothes, like the burning of memories, or maybe it just smells like home. Like the open road that begins with how dare you and always results in a dead end. I found comfort going with the flow of traffic, stopping and starting just like everyone else. I wanted to avoid breakdowns because no one stops for someone helpless at the side of the road anymore. My taste buds long for a gulp filled with swear words, chased by profanities, because anger tastes like the sting of eating breakfast alone and dinner just the same. Family dinners lead to an empty stomach and a reflection of my face over the toilet bowl. I see anger in the eyes staring back at me, bloodshot with bitterness, dripping black mascara down my cheeks. I saw anger in his eyes when I said no. But don't I deserve to be angry? For someone mistaking my hemline as a pickup line? No, because feminists are overrated, not all men are animals, and come on, you don't want to make everybody angry. But this boy, he crossed the line that I drew with shaky hands and a stumbling voice that can barely make out the words, no. But the anger I had, it never broke the crease on my dry lips because of the permanent mask that resembles a smile. But the anger, I didn't deserve to lose this battle to anger, waving the white flag forced into my hands, left with battle scars shaped with hate. Anger feels like a clenched jaw, silent mouths, and screaming minds. You give me a look to shut my mouth, to lock my lips with an apology, and withhold my insanity with 50 milligrams. But I'm going through withdrawals. I'm in love with being a lunatic, even if that means steam coming out my ears, because that's better than me boiling up inside, one day to erupt all over your empty apologies and excuses. Your words have no weight to you anymore because they're all resting on my shoulders. My feet are incapable of standing because raising my voice leads to an argument I just don't have the manpower to win. But I don't want to shut my mouth. I want to yell what the voices screech inside my head. Anger reveals itself in curious ways, like kisses coated with sorrow brought on by a red Solo cup in the right song. But that doesn't mean my fist doesn't tighten each time you utter my name. That doesn't mean my outfits allude to my easygoing outlook, because I'm not. But you've probably noticed I'm never angry. Never heard out my lips, tasted on my tongue, seen in my eyes, smelt on my breath, or felt in my grasp. But anger is my loyal friend, always lurking in the back, trying to rupture my ribcage and penetrate my heart with poison. Anger flows through my veins, only to be halted when it tries to escape through my lips. When the rage can only be released through the power of my own hands fighting against each other. But anger, to me, is internalized. Never reaching the point of becoming externalized, because what would that do? To me, probably provide a short relief of honesty, give my lungs the air to breathe, only to return to the ocean with nothing but a sinking ship and lungs filled with water that stop me from speaking a word. To you, or to anyone who hasn't suffered the consequences because of my mute button that always seems to be on, no, I didn't hear it. I saw it, though. No, I didn't see it, but I felt your words break every bone in my body. I may not have swallowed your glass, but now I know what it feels like to be wasted. Wasted space, wasted words, wasted. My self-restraint is dwindling, and it's only a matter of time before someone cocks the gun and pulls the trigger. Maybe then I'll hit something other than my words against deaf ears and feel something other than my words being restricted by louder voices. Angst, aggravation, annoyance, call it what you want, but it always leaves me alone. Angry. But how am I supposed to show my anger when my closed fists are forced into open arms? Believe me when I say I'm angry. But being pretty and pissed leads to an attitude problem that no one has the time to solve. Believe me when I say anger isn't the problem. I am. Thank you.
Is Madeline Mayday here? All right. This next poet says, I want to be remembered by the way you can hear me talking from a mile away because I don't know how to whisper. With the poem, The Shrinking Society, Madeline Mayday.
I might have to change my statement because I'm pretty sure I want to be remembered exactly like this at this moment. Come one, come all, step right up. Let me show you the ultimate trick of the shrinking society. Shh. We mustn't tell a soul because people don't even realize that they're being deceived right in front of their eyes because they're more concerned about the gaps between their thighs than the gaps between the truths the society is telling them. Read the fine print because, honey, you are all beautiful. Asterisk really means I'm sure your personality can help pick up the slack of your physical failures. We only support real women. Asterisk because apparently they're plastic kinds. I would tell you to feed me Webster's definition of pretty, but I am already full from binging on self-hate and throwing up false self-confidence because I would hate to discomfort you with confessions over my insecurities. Because yes, I know it's my fault, my fault, my fault. Hi, I'm Madeline, and I'm addicted to the taste of chocolate and the search for perfection. Last time I checked, bigger is better. And don't worry, I can wait forever for people to realize this, because believe me, this bone structure ain't going anywhere. Because what if I have all the right junk in all the wrong places? And yes, I realize they make extra large sizes in the latest fashions, but believe me, you don't want to see all this in a tube top. Oh, I almost forgot. Thank you for your plus-size models, because I can totally relate to their double Ds and voluptuous, ask me what my weight is, and I'll say 3 digits of wonderful, because on a scale of 1 to 10, baby, I'm a 174.5. Please leave your comment in the box written, I don't give a damn. Don't you realize the judgment strips away humanity, so let me bring it back. By just looking at me, you wouldn't know that I love midnight pancake runs. Okay, you might guess that one. Listening to songs on repeat until I ruin them. 4 o'clock on Sundays, and then I'm convinced the blue M&Ms taste better than the rest. Please come closer. My body is just a funhouse mirror of my interiors, because my story is more beautiful than my face will ever be. And I know I'm larger than life, but don't worry, because unless you're made of chocolate, I don't bite.
These next poets say they want to be remembered as the savages that spray painted your house and corrupted your children. With Anatomy, Mackenzie Suarez and Hunter McLaren.
Trade me sides.
Yeah. Is this on?
I think so.
Doc, I think there's something wrong with me. Would you mind taking a look?
Where does it hurt?
Well,
everywhere.
Let's begin the examination.
There's a bony prominence next to the bone of my big toe that's causing it to turn inwards.
Flexible structures composed of joints, bones, muscles, and other soft tissues that let us stand upright and perform activities.
Your feet are your beginnings as well as your ends. They can remember the first time that you put one in front of the other, and they meet the path forward with 10 little arms, ready to embrace the world.
The forefoot contains 5 toes.
They've kissed pavements you've forgotten and hugged grasses that you can't quite remember. They love to get buried in sand and plunged into pools.
The midfoot is a collection of bones that form arches.
They can be light and quick, or they can be big and heavy, but either way, they will leave their mark. An intricate design of your origins pressed into the earth, each one unique.
You have bunions.
People forget their origins, and sooner they forget much more. This may occur in anyone.
Leave a footprint, but don't wipe away someone else's, but you often forget that the ground is a shared space.
I have abdominal bloating and swelling and discomfort in the pelvic area.
An elastic muscular canal with a soft, flexible line that provides lubrication and sensation.
This is where you plant your seed.
One that will soon blossom into a beautiful flower that will carry on not only life, but the genes that reside within you.
Not all seeds are meant to be planted in the same soil just because...
You have ovarian cancer.
Just because I don't say no does not mean you can stick it in my vague response. It's not an open invite, honey. This party is VIP only.
I am not not able to achieve sufficient hardness for satisfaction.
This organ carries a duct for the transfer of sperm.
This is where you find your seed.
One that will soon blossom into a beautiful flower that will carry on not only life, but the genes that reside within you.
You may feel as though you have an infinite amount of seeds, but remember, they're not meant to be planted just anywhere.
You have erectile dysfunction.
Please don't use this name in vain. You can never measure it properly if half of it's shoved in your personality.
Don't worry, size doesn't always matter, because the only way you want anything to do with it is you're gonna wreck your attitude first. Well, there's inflammation in my joints causing pain and
The
stiffness.
terminal prehensile part in the upper limb in humans and other primates.
My hands are my experiences. They've shared moments of formality, friendship, and desire.
There are 27 bones within the wrist and hand.
They're there for you when you're sitting in the car, wanting to dance but restricted to movement. So instead you use them, impelling them like waves, tapping them around like drumsticks.
The carpals join with the two forearm bones, the radius and ulna, forming the wrist joint.
But most importantly, they can grasp. Not simply holding, but always feeling the stubble on your face and the tenderness of your skin, leaving not only fingerprints, but imprints.
Arthritis. You have arthritis.
They're weapons typing words of hate, measuring skirt lines to help prevent rape.
Fingers interlocked like a beautiful zipper of prayer, turning into cock guns and shooting up middle fingers, turning pieces into pieces, blessings into bombshells, throwing fists through the air and throwing picket signs to the ground.
I'm having chest pain, discomfort, and pressure.
A hollow muscular organ that pumps blood through the circulatory system by arithmetic dilation and contraction.
Your heart is a mirror, and it's reflecting love, desire, hope, and effort. Every beat is a chance to create something new, a new thought, a new idea, a new creation, a new you.
The right atrium receives blood from the veins. The right ventricle receives blood from the right atrium and pumps it to the lungs.
Your heart can pump so much more than just blood. It can pump passion, and sometimes that passion cannot be confined to just your body. It can come racing and pouring out of you with incredible lights and colors.
You're having a heart attack.
Your heart is the size of a fist, but do not use it to damage or destroy.
Yes, everyone has a left ventricle, but no, not everyone knows how to love.
There is an infection in my lips, mouth, and gums. They are small, painful blisters.
The opening in the lower part of the human face surrounded by the lips.
Your mouth is your truth. Voce buche e votre verti. Su boca es su verdad. Converting thoughts into words, being kissed by dreams, but bit by reality.
The mouth's external opening is located along the body's midline.
Your mouth is a cannon of emotion. Your voice is a turning reservoir of thoughts, just waiting for the tide to rise. Ocean waves created by thought collect the ideas that stir inside you, spit out with each word as your tongue flicks out sound.
The external opening of the mouth is usually much larger than the horizontal plane, but may be extended through the movement of the jaw.
Mouths are fancied by mustaches and pleased by kisses that feel so sweet but taste so bitter. Words accumulated by hate bubble beneath thick saliva, puke out thoughts of suicide and a rope good for hanging.
You have oral herpes.
Mouths can be infected by blisters that form daggers due to the hatred simplex virus. But worse, words can tie a noose around your neck and kick the chair beneath your feet.
Well, one of my eyes sees better than the other one, and the weaker eye tends to wander.
Each pair of globular organs in the head through which people see.
Your eyes really are the windows to your soul. They can tell all of your secrets without your lips ever even moving. Eyes can speak poetry better than us and can sing the saddest of songs.
Just behind the iris and the pupil lies the lens, which helps focus light at the back of the eye.
Your lashes are soft wings that wave hello to anything and everything. Your eyes can see so much more than the surface. And the great thing about them is that they don't even have to be open for you to use them.
You have a lazy eye.
Unfortunately, not everyone's eyes can agree. Some people can only see what is grotesque as a result of not using their third eye, the one that actually counts.
And it has become the norm to pick out the flaws in everything we see, including ourselves.
Fat,
ugly,
tall,
short,
skinny,
human.
Well, I'm having a lot of problems here. Memory loss, difficulty communicating, paranoia, and hallucinations.
The command center for the human nervous system, it receives input from the sensory organs and sends output to the muscles.
The brain is your pilot, and this airplane is going in all sorts of directions. It holds your memories and feelings, the chemicals that balance your body. It concocts the potions that allow you to feel, but proceed with caution. They often bubble over and create the worst kinds of messes.
The human brain is the largest brain of all vertebrates relative to body size. It weighs about 3.3 pounds.
Sometimes the pilot doesn't always respond appropriately. This causes turbulence, or other words, unrequited love.
You show symptoms of amnesia.
All the power resides within the pilot, but with a simple wrong turn, the entire plane can come crashing down, leaving behind all sense of right or wrong and heading straight into unexplored territory.
There's an unusual looking mole on my skin and it has an odd shape and uncertain border.
The largest organ in the body with about 20 square feet.
Your skin is your identity. It is not only your personal roadmap of experience filled with scars and tattoos, but also your culture, showing pigment of something greater than just color.
The epidermis, the outer layer of skin, provides a waterproof barrier in our skin tone.
It tends to become dry, and all of us silly folk hope that a little lotion will cure the shedding. But we cannot change this evolution because as our maps change, so does our identity.
You seem to have melanoma.
Your skin is who you are, but the varying colors do not determine your worth. You will be judged from the inside out, not the other way around.
So, Doc, what's the prescription?
Well, it looks like you'll be on a surgical table for the next 24 hours, but don't forget to take a strong dose of...
But wait, what are the side effects?
Well, there's a 99.9% chance of death and 100% loss of all emotional worth. You have bunions, ovarian cancer, erectile dysfunction, arthritis, you're having a heart attack, oral herpes, lazy eye, amnesia, and you also have melanoma. That diagnosis seems simple for a person in a lab coat who's never felt my pain. Without your feet, you wouldn't be able to walk. Wrong.
I would have no origins.
Without your hands, you wouldn't be able to pick things up.
Wrong. I wouldn't be able to feel my lover's touch.
Without your heart, the blood wouldn't get pumped through your veins.
Wrong. I wouldn't be able to spread love or passion.
Without your mouth, you wouldn't be able to talk or to eat.
Wrong. I wouldn't be able to share kisses or speak my mind.
Without your eyes, you wouldn't be able to see.
Wrong. I wouldn't be able to find my way in darkness or in light.
Without your skin, you'd be exposed to the elements.
Wrong. I would have no identity.
Without your brain, you'd be dead. No.
Without a brain,
I'd
be just like you.
This next poet says, I want to be remembered as the girl with the chocolate can cure everything attitude, Sarah Flugel.
Also, I didn't have him read my title because if you think this poem is about you, it probably is. Show me your soft side, and I'll show you mine. Let me unravel your edges, peel back the layers of the years, leafing through your memories like scrapbook pages, each photo laid out with a caption like, changed how I feel about cottage cheese, or a bee sting. A broken-hearted second grader because he insisted on stomping on it. It can't hurt me if it's dead, he argued. The stinger was both literal and metaphorical. Elementary school is a funny thing. I'm waiting for the person who knows exactly what I'm going to do before I do it, who understands the difference between tapping feet and tapping fingers, who understands that stress playing with my hair is perfectly normal and that it's all relative. Sometimes you trip over the loose ends, and you can try to hold on to the ends of your shoelaces, but you'll only develop a hunch. So sometimes you have to tie the two ends together and keep walking. Or maybe you tie one on itself and let the other one go. Or maybe you cut them off altogether. No loose ends to hold you back, as long as you remember that it is your own two hands that determine whether you get a good power walk or a kiss with the concrete. That fine line you walk is your tightrope, and that glass sphere you hold on to is your gravity. The weight holding you down, the same glass makes up my tongue, is enveloped by lips made of cardstock. It's a damn good thing I'm not afraid of paper cuts. But I am terrified by the balancing act. Trust them here, protect yourself there, share in your happiness or drown in your misery, live in risk or live in regret. Your actions are choices, your choices are consequences. The best and the worst part is it's all up to you. So you learn to balance your glass sphere and you call it your world. I know that to find yourself, you gotta lose yourself, but baby, don't disappear on me now. It's all relative. I didn't know someone could be as blunt as I until you stated exactly what I was thinking before I thought it. It was terrifying and exciting. You were a mystery. And I don't apologize when I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry for making you walk through that labyrinth over and over, around and around. I was standing, waiting, wanting for you at the center, only I sidestepped at the end. I'm glad things worked out for the best. The summer is a funny thing, and I've learned to feel feelings like the ones that you get, almost like a pit that rests in the utmost part of my rib cage. That pit is an aura, like the perfect shade of orange, like goosebumps when it's warm outside, like a hug that lasts long enough to exhale. Twice that pit has made me sob, has made my arms tingle, because the only feeling that's greater than the one in my chest is the one that makes my limbs feel like they can and will take off this. This is what I feel when I'm with you. This is 5 feet and 4 inches I have to give you when 3 words don't make the cut. 2 a.m. is a funny thing, and I've learned that your least favorite season can just as well be your favorite season, and your least favorite person might as well be the love of your life, because it takes a whole lot of love to hate someone, but never hate someone so much that you can't love again, because sometimes the best way to get someone's attention is to disappear for a while, and sometimes the best way to get to hear your voice is to whisper. So take my hand, and I will show you the cities that live in my palms and the road maps I keep on the backs of my hands, because every street sign points back to you. And even though these roundabouts have got me going around and around and around, I know that my hands will get me to my destination in the right direction and make me keep my promises. Because when I told him that pinky promises held the utmost weight to me, he laughed. But it proved to me that I have more strength in my littlest finger than he does in his entire body. It's all relative, so we, yes, we, the people that are terrible at changing the conversation, we are well aware. Thank you very, very much. I know I completely disregarded the transition, but I don't care if, so it's supposed to snow on Friday, wasn't the way to follow a conversation about how you don't love me, because the second that those words slipped from my lips, I wish that they would freeze like my windshield wipers on a frigid December morning, blocking any chance that I, that you, that we would see what was happening right before our eyes. A car misses their brakes in front of me, my heart misses a beat in front of you. A crash and a bang, it's all the same damage, right? It's all relative, it's all relative, it's all relative. Show me your soft side now that I've showed you mine. Because if this is what makes my skin thick, then baby, I must be all skin. Thanks.
Our last poet says, I want to be remembered for, wait, when was this due? The title, Blind Because of Our Light, Liam Fries.
When I was a child, I remember traveling up north to our cottage every summer. My family and I would leave so early in the morning that by my standards today, it would be considered still late at night. The journey was long and consisted of silence. As soon as the subtle vibrations of the car engine ceased, I would wake from my light slumber along the back seat, to race out into the pre-dawn, onto the lawn, to stretch, but more importantly, to look up. I would see the black sky riddled with thousands of brilliant stars, some as large as a dime and others barely visible. Occasionally, I would see meteorites streaking across this vivid canopy, and as I gazed out into this magnificent spectacle, the earth went out of focus. Last night, I remembered this and ventured outside. Do you know what I saw? A single lone speck, Polaris, our brightest and northernmost star, now foggy and difficult to see with the naked eye. Many people experience such awe when they realize that what we see in our night sky is not but was. Even light has a speed limit, and so telescopes become time machines. No witness could have ever imagined that when the galaxy began to pour light out 4 billion years ago into the surrounding darkness, that some remote clumps of rock, metal, ice, and organic material would come together to create Earth, spark life, and billions of years later, thinking beings would evolve to capture just a little of that light and attempt to fathom what had created it. However, I think we can see a shortcoming here. Man thinks itself the center of the universe, projecting our nature onto nature, while we become an ever greater threat to our homes and ourselves. Out of all the forms of pollution, a basic law of physics doesn't usually fall within our radar, but hold the candle up to a window at night and you cannot see the vast field outside. Because of that, we've stayed indoors recently, and we've tried to cast out that reality of how enormous that field really is, or how small we fall in comparison. Today, we no longer present ideas with facts, only confidence. We are beginning to see humility as a disease, and we no longer acknowledge that true intellect comes with doubt and uncertainty. And so, we are becoming blind because of our light. Man really doesn't know anymore. We so long to find a purpose in our lives, but despite our efforts at self-deception, none are evident. Man is an insignificant germ on an unimportant rock, which inhabits a smaller arm of our galaxy whose center we are 30,000 light years away. But if we could all understand again that our sun is not the only star, that our Earth is not the only planet, and that our lives, with increasing plausibility, are not unique. Perhaps only when we can hold each other's hands united as we look up once more to realize that we weren't given the lead in our cosplay and that we will never find a beaten path for our species. Perhaps only then could we create a worthy goal.
Let's have a hand for all our poets. I'm incredibly proud this evening of all our poets, and it just goes to show you what kids can do when you give them a place to think and a space for their voice. Have a good night and drive safe.